Hi, Twin Flames, and welcome back to Tarot for You 444. It's certainly lovely to have you with me as always. I've got an important message for Twin Flames today, and it's something that I've kind of thought of before, but recently it's become an important factor within the Twin Flame journey. And I can kind of feel that it's something that's really affecting the collective at this time. So I just wanted to bring it up with you, very briefly today so that you can, think about it a little more. Okay, so the first thing is when you're confronted with the Twin Flame journey in the very beginning, there is, the definite impact of, a feeling of falling in love, a feeling of, the combination of souls, a feeling of the two vibrations meeting one another for the first time. And, this blissful feeling is, it really can only be described as bliss. And so then, as you come together and go apart and come together and go apart and come together and go apart, when you're either messaging or, seeing one another in general, you can notice how blissful it feels when you're together, and then, how horrifying. Should I use the word horrifying? No, I don't know. Maybe not horrifying, but as in, you realize that there are things, that have been triggered within you that you didn't know needed to be healed. And, this may not have anything to do with the conversation that you had with your twin. This may not have anything to do with anything about them. It's just the energy of them triggers something in you that needs healing. And so it begins like an episode of Game of Thrones. Is it? So it's like you don't know what's going to happen next. If you've ever, watched Game of Thrones, you can kind of, understand how Game of Thrones, you just don't know what's going to happen next, and that's kind of, how you could explain the Twin Flame journey. So I'm not sure if the masculines are as aware of this trigger. It feels like the feminines are more triggered. I don't know why it feels like the feminines are more triggered, but I think it's because in general the feminine energy is far more emotional. Okay, so what happens with the feminine energy is that, in times of separation, she will go into this overthinking mode where she's got, all of the emotion of love and bliss and, all the wonderment of the Twin Flame journey. And then the mind will come in and start overthinking everything and going, oh no, what if I'm not good enough? Oh no, what if I'm, not ready? Oh no, what if he doesn't really mean what he says? Oh no, what if, what if, okay? And so I've discussed this before in the Ascension series, and I just want to breach on it again because it's coming up in the collective at this time. So what I want to explain to you now is that there's this thing that happens where when we go into separation with our twin, right, we need to understand that, it's not actually our twin doing anything to us. It's not actually that they've got any bad intention for us. It's not actually that they're trying to trigger us at all. It's just that for us to become the best version of ourselves, we need the triggering so that we can realign ourselves. Okay, and vice versa. They also will realign. And it's frustrating because, you'll come together and think everything's fantastic, and then when you're in separation, especially if the separation lasts for, you know, a longer time than you expect, you know, you can come into this weird feeling of all the doubt. You know, all the doubts creep in. The mind just takes over and starts controlling everything, and the heart space just pretty much gets, you know, thrown into the proverbial corner. And we want the opposite, because the twin flame journey is a journey of the soul. It's a journey, you know, to a reunion with your soul. And so when we've got a soul to soul connection, it's all about the feeling. It's all about the heart to heart how do I say that? Hang on, I'm tongue tied and twisted right now. So, you know, the heart to heart connection and the mind to mind, well, it's not mind to mind, it's the third eye, you know, telepathy. Okay, so the twin flame journey is a heart to heart connection of souls, and it's also a telepathy of the third eye, right? And so if we bring in this 3D concept or third dimensional consciousness concept of a brain to brain connection, we're then going down that very, very scary third dimensional consciousness path, which is, you know, a usual path that we've seen maybe perhaps with our parents or with our friends or with you know, past connections and soulmates, where, you know, we've literally seen a relationship have a breakdown. And why does it break down? Because the mind is being used and the ego is being used instead of, you know, the heart chakra or the third eye. Okay, so I want to just make that distinction here for twin flames, how important it is to keep the connection, a heart to heart, soul to soul, you know, third eye to third eye connection. Okay, so we've got the telepathy coming through with the third eye. We've got the heart to heart connection. You know, a lot of, you know, spiritualists and other teachers will say, you know, we've got that red thread connecting, you know, connecting the souls or connecting the hearts together. You know, it's invisible, but it's there, you know. So you are automatically already in union with your twin. You're automatically married or in union with your twin in the fifth dimensional consciousness. Okay. And this is why, you know, for anyone who's been on the twin flame journey for a while, you'll be able to feel your twin even when you're not with them. Okay, you know, if you tap in, if you meditate and tap in, and you know, you can literally feel them. Okay, so what I'm suggesting now is when you come together and it feels like time stops when you're communicating with one another, right? I'm completely suggesting that you stay in that vibration, that frequency, when you're not with them as well. So when you're in separation from them, you know, utilize that wonderful feeling of bliss that you get when you are with them, and stay in that when you're apart as well. Don't let the mind come in and start feeding all of the doubts. You know, what if he doesn't like it when I wear my, I don't know, my favorite blue shorts because they've got a hole in them or something, I don't know, something silly. Or what if, you know, what if he travels to see me and my house isn't clean enough? Or what if I, you know, tell him about my children and he doesn't like children? Or what if she, let's take it the other way as well with the energy, you know, for the divine masculine, you know, what if she doesn't think my body's good enough? Or what if she doesn't, you know, like what job I do? Or, you know, what if she doesn't understand my culture or my religion or my language or something like that? Okay, so these what ifs come about when we listen to the chatter of the mind. Okay, And I've said this before, and I'm guilty of it myself, of course, because we're all human. But when we let that mind chatter come in, you can put a stop to the connection. Okay, you can put a blinder on the connection. You can put doubt into the connection, because your thoughts manifest, and thought plus action equals creation. So, if you're thinking to yourself, gee, my divine masculine may not like it when I blah, 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 right? And then you take action in some way, shape or form by feeling that you shouldn't wear that particular outfit, or that you shouldn't, text him at that certain time or whatever. You're literally bringing that thought into creation. Okay, so the goal here is to stop the mind, which is, it can be very difficult to do. But when we do this, we can come and live in the present moment and feel our way through. Okay, I want you to try and feel your way through the twin flame journey, as opposed to thinking your way through the twin flame journey. Because if you think your way through it, it will not make any sense at all. Because it's not of this world. It's quite literally otherworldly. It's so stunning and so blissful and so amazing and so righteous and sacred and all of those wonderful things that, we begin to understand that, what becomes important is how we feel. Okay, so I'll give you a little example about this, which may help. If you've ever been sat somewhere, waiting, I don't know, let's say you're waiting for your fish and chips at the fish and chip shop. Is that a thing everywhere? That's something we have in Australia. We have a fish and chip shop, and you can sit there and, you wait. You've ordered takeaway and you're waiting, So let's say you rock up at the fish and chip shop, and the woman behind the counter says, okay, I'm really sorry, I forgot to put your order on. Give me another 15 minutes. I've got all these other orders, and I'm really sorry. Can you wait? And so you go, yeah, sure, of course you can, because you're a lovely person, aren't you? But then you forgot that you drank, all of that, cup of tea or coffee before you went into the fish and chip shop. And so you're absolutely busting, like I mean busting, to go to the toilet, and you can't, or to the bathroom. We say toilet here in Australia, but some people say bathroom, right? So and there's nowhere to go, but you've got to wait 20 minutes. So this is a really dumb example, I know, but it's going to be funny. So anyway, so you're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and you've decided that you're fine, you're going to be fine, because you know that there is a toilet like just 5 minutes away, but you just need to get your fish and chips. And so you've decided to focus upon the beauty of the fish and chips that you can't wait to get, because it's going to be wrapped up in brown paper and nice and warm, and you're going to take it home and feed your family, and it's going to be fantastic. Okay, so that's one of two scenarios. So you get your fish and chips eventually, and you go and you run to the toilet, you whack the fish and chips back in the car, and you run to that toilet, and then you go home and everything's sweet. Okay, so this is, you've kind of been in your heart space about it. You've like, oh, well, everything's going to be fine, la, 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 la. Or we could change it around and say, okay, we're at the fish and chip shop now, and the woman says you've got to wait 20 minutes. And then we can let the mind in, and the mind's going to go, oh my God, no way can I wait 20 minutes. Oh my God, I'm going to wet myself. Oh my God, oh no, and for the whole time, you can literally be freaking out. Okay, so the mind can take over and do that thing where it goes, we're not going to be able to do this. This isn't going to happen. Oh my God, we're actually going to wee ourselves. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. There's like 8 minutes to go. How are we going to do it? Okay, and this is what can happen on the twin flame journey. Okay, So if you imagine the metaphor is that the twin flame journey is like waiting for fish and chips, right? How are you going to wait for your fish and chips? Even if you're busting for a wee, you know, are you going to wait patiently and know that, you know, there's going to be an end, a good ending coming for you, and that you'll eventually be able to release, you know, once you've got your fish and chips? Or are you going to freak out the whole time while you're waiting? You know, oh my God, you know, oh my God, that guy's getting his order first. Oh my God, I wonder how many more there's going to be. Oh my God, what if what if she takes longer than 20 minutes, right? You know, so, sorry, I find this metaphor quite funny. So, you know, the same thing can happen during a pregnancy or giving birth. You know, for all of you divine feminines out there who've ever had a child, you know that, you know, what you tell yourself as you're giving birth, you know, if you're awake giving birth, you know, is detrimental to how you go about the whole labor experience. You know, are you absolutely freaking out and thinking that you're going to not make it through? Or are you trying to be as calm as possible and thinking of, you know, the end goal, the beauty of the baby coming, and, you know, trying trying not to kill anyone that steps on your path while you're, you know, pushing the baby out. If you know, and if you've had a baby, you'll know what I mean. Okay. So there's two ways we can go about this. We can stay in our heart space and put our mind and our ego in the corner, and we can live in the present moment, or we can absolutely freak out and feel like we're on a freight train with no brakes. Or what's that movie with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock, and she's driving the bus, you know, and there's no brakes and he's in there being all calm. There's the divine masculine being all calm. It's okay, sweetie, we'll be fine. And she's like, oh my God, I'm on the bus and the bus is going, you know, excuse all my sound effects, but you know what I mean. You can imagine, oh, what's that movie called? Someone will tell me the movie. Is it Speed? I think it's called Speed. Anyway, that's a great movie, because there's Sandra Bullock is, you know, having a little freak out, and there's, you know, Keanu Reeves coming in all suave, and, you know, everything's going to be fine. So there's another good metaphor. All right, so what I'm trying to say is there's three things we need to remember here. Remember that the twin flame journey is a heart-to-heart connection, a soul-to-soul connection, a telepathic or third eye to third eye connection, right? And it doesn't involve the mind at all, unless you need to problem solve because you need to, you know, remember his phone number or her phone number, or, you know, if you want to send them a package, you need to know and concentrate on what their address is, or, you know, that kind of thing. You know, use your mind for problem solving only. And the second thing I'd like to say is that when we live in the present moment of right now, then we can experience the feeling of being within our feeling of the heart chakra and having that telepathic communication. So, you know, living your life as if it is a meditation. You know, if you're religious, or if you believe in God or Buddha or Allah or source energy, you know, that connection that you can have with the higher power, you can do that with your twin as well. But you have to be, this is the hardest bit, you have to be balanced in mind, body, soul, emotions, and in your chakras. Okay, if any of those things are off, then we're going to have issues. Okay, because we'll be off balance, and then it's going to affect the connection. All right, so, you know, twins don't always go into separation. This is the other thing I just wanted to mention. Twins don't always go into separation because there's healing needing to be done. Twins sometimes go into separation because they need, you know, to just get on with their, you know, day-to-day lives. You know, they're going to work, or they study, or they, I don't know, they're babysitting or whatever they're doing, right? They've still got lives if they're not together in, physical union or married or living together as yet. They've still got things that they've got to do in their physical reality. Okay? So what you want to do is maintain this balance while you're not with your twin. So then when your twin comes in, you're not having a meltdown. When they do come in, finally, you've been waiting and waiting for them to come in, and, you've been focusing on your self-love, and you've been, you can see the unicorns and the butterflies and the balloons and the fireworks in your life, and you're finally balancing yourself, and then all of a sudden, you have a phone conversation with the telemarketer that really pissed you off, and then straight after that, your twin comes in with a loving message saying how much they love you and adore you, and you're in this cray mood where you're just literally having a meltdown. So, that can happen too. So despite what's going on in your physical reality, you want to try and stay balanced with all of the connections, all of the people, places and situations you come into contact with, so that you're not putting whatever mood you're in or whatever emotion you're in or whatever mind space you're in onto your twin when they come in, because that's also a thing. One twin can come in very loving and very beautiful and all balanced and perfect, and the other twin's having a am I allowed to say batshit crazy kind of day? Because that can happen too. All right, so the twin flame journey is supposed to be about balance, and sometimes it'll rock the boat. The other twin will be like, hang on a minute, here I am, I'm coming in all beautiful and sweet and loving and kind with unconditional love, and they're not giving me the feeling back that I'm giving to them. All right, so just be aware of that. Just be aware that if you're having a really crappy day and your twins come in all loving and kind and beautiful, and you're like, oh my God, everything's going wrong, and I take that back, but you know what I mean? It's like, that telemarketer was crazy, you should have heard them on the phone, all in your ego, all in your mind space, and they're like, hang on a minute, I thought we were in love, I thought everything was fine. Or it can, be flip it around as you wish, with gender or with divine feminine or divine masculine. All right, so the goal is, I'll say it one more time. I'm still laughing at all my little scenarios here. I'm imagining all these little stories in my mind. So we need to stay in our heart space. We need to stay in this telepathic, connection ideal as much as possible. And we need to live in the present moment. And we need to stay balanced as much as possible, so that when our twin does come in, right, we're not acting like we don't care about them. We're not acting like crazy. We're not going all on about all the dramas in our life. We're not, constantly, telling them, what a shit day we had, or, how, I don't know, that woman's driving me crazy because she's so jealous, or, I don't know, I can't cope with this, or I can't cope with that, We want to come in an unconditionally loving way, because that's what's going to attract your twin. No one wants to listen to problems over and over again, or I'm not saying you can't talk to your twin about problems, that's not what I mean, but you just don't want to stay in that energy all of the time. Because if we're talking about problems that have happened, we're living in the past, and if we're worrying about future scenarios, we're being anxious or in anxiety. I'm not talking about the clinical terms of depression or anxiety here. I'm just talking about we can make ourselves sad if we're constantly living in the past, or we can make ourselves worried if we're constantly living in the future. So we want to come into the present moment, stay in the heart connection, all right, and not bring the mind in unless it's for problem solving only. We don't want to be judgmental. We don't want to be talking, about, that we don't want to let the ego in. to the twin flame connection, because, you know, it's literally the devil. It's like, it's, if you want to stuff up your twin flame connection, be in your ego, because that's the way to do it. You know, if you want to really enhance your twin flame connection, you want to stay in your heart space, in your heart chakra, you know, in that energy of feeling and being in love with yourself first and foremost, and then the other half of your soul. Okay? And there's a synchronicity there, because lightning and thunder is starting up here in Australia. So I'm going to leave it there. I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to call this video. But Harry's laughing. He's like, he's saying, this video is batshit cray cray. Excuse my language, but it is, with the scenarios we're using. But anyway, doesn't matter. Thank you for being here and listening to me rattle on about all this stuff, and I hope it is helpful with your twin flame journey. If you want to get into contact with me, my details are below in the description box, and of course I'm sending you love, light and peace from Australia, and I hope you have a great day, night, afternoon or evening wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.